So prior to you moving your RV, what you need to do is move things or put things away that are sitting out, like this, you know, things like that, and that I'm probably just gonna stack it up. It's 3 items and I'm just gonna stack it down. So, but that's what you need to do before you start thinking about moving, okay? So here, all I did was got all my monitors and my printers, and all I did was set them down here, situated them so that if there's any kind of movements, they're kind of secure. Hopefully we're not going to be moving this trailer, like we're not going to be racing, so that's all we're going to do on this end. So I created a PDF for all of y'all, so you'll be able to go in and print this thing out, and it's hard to stack them together while I have one hand on the phone. So as I go, I'm gonna scratch it out with my pen on the steps. So if there's a step that's missing, I'll go ahead and correct it on the PDF. So prior to moving, you want to assess your area that you're going to be moving into. So you want to make sure that you are going into a level area, and this area is pretty level. So we're moving from one location to the other, and so we have all our hookups right here. So I will bring my trailer, our RV. Okay, so prior to your takedown, make sure you put all your tools that you're gonna need to take your RV down, okay? So I have them set all right here, and they're all ready to be used. One of the first things you wanna do is close your propane tanks. So in my case, I have 2 propane tanks, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut them off. Now the next thing you want to do is check to see if you have your water heater turned on. So let's see if it's off or on. So my water heater is turned on, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. So the next thing you want to do is empty your black tank and your gray tank. So we're gonna do that right now. So the first thing you want to do is release your black tank. That will release all your things from the toilet, and once you see it come out of here, then you can go ahead and release your gray tank. So when this is finished, I'll show you how to do that other part. So once you hear that it sounds like the water is finished, what I like doing is coming on this end and then start lifting like this, so if there's any debris from the toilet, it'll go ahead and come out, right? Okay, now that you've done that, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and release the gray tank. So let me move around. To release your gray tank, you're gonna grab your fingers here and go ahead and release the water. So you might help it a little bit by lifting that up like that, so that it'll drain properly. And once the water comes all the way out, you see how clean it is? That is why I wanted to do the black tank first. That way this little pipe here, or this hose, is not going to be dirty. Okay, so we'll once this is done, I'll show you the next step. You can actually see the water draining. So once it's finished draining, then you can lift the back part of it. So if you were going to be traveling, at this point, what you would want to do is go ahead and fill up your fresh water tank. And this is where you would put the hose. You would grab that part of the hose, and then you would fill this up, which I already have. So we're not going to do that step. But like I said, all you're going to do is you're going to get that hose, and it's not connected, you're just going to hold it here. Okay, you fill that up, that way you have some water in case you're traveling 12-13 hours and you can stop somewhere and use the bathroom or sleep somewhere. All right, so I don't hear no more water coming out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start from this end. Okay, I'm going to lift up. So, oh, sorry about that. Lift up, and that way all the water will be it'll come out of there. Okay, now, so, and if you notice, I have gloves. You don't want to be handling this stuff without gloves, because then there's a possibility that you might get dirty. So now we're gonna disconnect this thing, and additionally we're gonna go ahead and clean it. It appears like it's already clean because I keep my tanks real clean. I clean them out all the time. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to disconnect this thing. First of all, what you want to do is close your black tank, your gray tank, and let me see if I can do this with one hand. You're gonna move this here. I'm gonna have to put this thing down because I'm gonna have to use two hands. Basically what I'm gonna do is grab this and push it over this way, you see. So give me a second here. So I went in there, twisted it off, and then again I'm gonna grab this, lift it up to make sure that there's no water. I don't feel no water, but I'm just double checking. Oh, there was a little bit of water. Unfortunately, this is not real dirty because, like I said, I keep it clean. Now, once you do this, what I would do, which I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna disconnect the hose, okay? And I'm gonna run water, clean this area. I'm gonna clean this and make sure I don't have no debris here for the next person that comes behind me. All right, so with this pipe, this hose, if I turn clockwise, because this is going the other way, clockwise will turn, so if I go counterclockwise, that's tightening it up. If I want to loosen it and remove it, I'll go clockwise. You have to hold this because sometimes the whole thing want to turn. So when you're turning it, make sure to be careful because it might squirt out. Earlier it did. I didn't have my tripod, so I couldn't show you what I was doing, but I went and got my tripod out so I could show you what I was doing. Okay, now that I've got this out of the way, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is while I have the hose out, I'm going to show you how to fill the fresh water tank. The next thing you're going to want to do is disconnect your hose. Okay, so this belongs to them, this belongs to me. So I'm going to disconnect the hose here. So when you disconnect the hose, what you want to do is get all your water out, right? So start on one end, just do this right here. Slowly but surely it's emptying on the other side. That way when you put this thing away, you're not gonna have water all over the place. Okay, And now there it is. Now you want to go ahead and roll it up and put it away. So we'll do that. So now what we want to do is put this thing away. Okay, so remember what I was telling y'all earlier? We want to go ahead, clean this and that down there. Okay, so it's good to have an extra hose. So we're going to turn it on. So the first thing I want to do is clean this right here. Remember, have you some gloves. It might get doo-doo around you. Okay? Okay, the next thing we want to do is clean that area right there. Let's move this thing around so I can get closer so you can see. Okay. So what you want to do is, first of all, close this and then just kind of close that. Then while you're there, get all your leaves and grass out of this, or doo-doo, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this guy out. So this is our next little project. We want to get this hose out. All it does is turn, like, release the water, okay, and it's pretty clean, so I feel pretty safe. There's not a lot of manure or nothing on it. Then another thing you want to do before you go is close this. And I guess it just sits there because it's not, yeah. So I'm just going to let it sit there because that's their connection. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Actually, I'll wait. I'm going to wait until the end to take this hose out because I might have to clean something. So just in case, I'll go ahead and leave that on. So one thing you do want to do is start securing your item, your caps. One of them. Then this one is already secured. I'm not going to secure this yet, but I am going to put my hose in there. Now, this thing here, either you can put it here or you can actually put it in the back of your truck, because I'm just moving just a few blocks away. It's actually in the same RV park. I'm just moving it to a different location. So I'm just gonna put it here. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do, since I've already handled that nasty stuff, then I'm just gonna take my gloves off and I'll throw them soon. Now I'm gonna go to my list and see what the next thing is. So I've already taken care of the propane. We've already taken care of the black, the gray. We emptied both of those. We disconnected the sewer line. Okay. We disconnected the water line. Get that. Okay. I explained about filling your fresh water tank in case, in case you're going to be traveling a long distance. So remember, guys, there's a PDF of this. So it's nice to be able to check everything out. You're not going to forget nothing, because if I forgot to list something in here, I'll make sure I put it on the PDF. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to retract our stabilizers and then raise the tongue jack, right? So the first thing that you want to make sure is that you raise your stabilizers, because if you go in and raise up on the tongue jack, what's gonna happen is you could damage this back end, because you're lifting up so high that you can bend those things. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and raise up our stabilizers. All right, so normally this is what you're going to get with your RV, right? The problem with using this thing here, if you notice, when I try to go down, see, we have a problem there, right? So you would have to take it in and out. What you need to do is have one of those 20 amp DeWalt's, 20 watts of volts, and you get those reducers, and all you have to do, see how easy that was? Otherwise, and it's hot, you could be sitting here and it gets real annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them, and then I'll show you the next thing we need to do. Okay, so the next thing on my list is the awning. Okay, so what you want to do is check for debris up there on top. I already climbed up there earlier, and I should have videoed it, but I have a letter. There was no debris or water up there. One thing you want to do is feel right here to make sure that there's no debris. Okay, once you're okay there, then you can go ahead and I'm leaving. I guess a couple of leaves. Okay, so that's all there is to that. That's the next thing you want to do. Okay? So if you have a pull out, like my neighbor here, Don, then that's the next thing you would want to do. I don't have one, so I can't demonstrate that. Okay, now that you've done your awning, then you can go ahead and take your electricity out. Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to the panel, all you're gonna do is just pull on it and make sure you go ahead and turn this off for them, okay? Close it, and what you're gonna do you're gonna lift this up. All you're gonna do is just push this right in here. And secure it. You're done with that part. So if you have a lock on your tongue deck, at this time you want to go ahead and remove it. Okay, so on mine it's real simple. All you do, grab this and okay, then I want to secure it. So I was gonna move the truck to back it into here, but before you do that, make sure that this is higher than this. Otherwise you're gonna hit it, right? So all you have to do is stop, you can see it, and then gauge to see and make sure that this is higher than that. Okay, so that looks pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and back into it and see. I have a rear view camera, so I'll be able to see how close I am. Okay, so now I'm going to back off. Good.
Is to, you want to go up to the front a little more.
Yeah, I can go up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, that's it. Yeah. Now.
Recording. Okay, so all you have to do is turn this on, and then
the brick.
so one thing you need to do is take this pin out, lift this up, okay? Then so you're gonna want to lift this all the way to the top. There's a lot of them that have a line, and it tells you how far to lift up the jack, right? Mine doesn't. You never want to go too far. Okay, that's about it. Okay, so go ahead and secure this. If this snaps in line and you're able to put in the pin, then you know this is secure properly. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put the chains. Let me see if I can get closer so that you can see how I'm going to do this. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I tried to position the camera where you can see. So down here on the back of your truck, what you want to do is latch this thing right in here. So if you notice, you have this little spring. You see that thing? You want to go ahead and make sure that that's snapped. I don't know if you can see it, but this won't allow it to come out. Okay? The same thing on this other side. You go in and you put that guy in. Okay, now you have the emergency brake. This thing here. make sure. Now I have a thing that I can snap to it. Okay, so that's secured. This has the hinge on it. This has the hinge. This has the hinge. Just double check real good. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna put is sway bars. Now, you know, I don't need sway bars for what I'm gonna do right now, but I want to show you, if you have sway bars, how to install them, because it's a little tricky. So this is a sway bar. Okay, now come up here this way. You see this thing right here? This thing, once this is latched properly, this thing will pop out. So okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring this like this, and then look, you're gonna bring it up to here. This thing here, on mine, I use the third one, right? So I wanna come in here. Oh, the third one. Okay, so we have a lever ball, a lever, and what you want to do is hold it there. So first take out this pin. You're going to come in and you'll hear snap. So this pin has to go right in here. Make sure that's secure. We're going to go ahead and do the other side. You can turn it off. Sway bar. So remember, it's going to have to go like this, and then if you notice right here, once it gets to a certain degree, it'll hold itself, but you will have to lift up on it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. You see, I heard a snap. Now, I'm going to come in here. You got 3 little notches. The one that's circle, that's half circle. On mine, you go to the third one. Push it. Grab this lever. And, oh, excuse me. Right in here. Lift up, and then you want to put the bar, the pin. Looks like I need a new pin. This one's kind of jacked up. Okay, so we're good. You can turn it on. This list really helped me out, okay? If I wouldn't have done this, I probably would have found out sooner or later. Probably later when it's back. But my list told me that I forgot to hook up my power. So this is very important. That's why download this PDF that I created for you, and as you go, just check it off. If I leave something off, let me know so I can put it on my next video. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do is make sure everything else is secured, okay? So, here you go. Just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so this is open. We wanna make sure you secure it. Go around, make sure everything's secure, okay? Make sure everything, now, see right here, I have a cable wire coming in here, so I need to remove that, okay? I'm gonna have to go inside because this is connected to one of my hubs. Go ahead, turn it on. Okay, so I took the cable out. Now I'm gonna secure this latch here. Okay, two less things. We need to remove these guys. I'm just going to put them in the back of my truck. Okay, so look around, make sure there's no other connections. In the meantime, I'm gonna look at my list and see if I forgot anything. See, that's why this list is good. Okay, so Elizabeth, you don't have to go inside for no reason, right? Okay, so follow me. So now that you're done with everything, the last thing you're going to do is secure your ladder. Okay, and the way you do that is you're going to close that. You're going to lift this up, push it, and it secures, right? Then you're going to go ahead and close this door, lock it, secure it.